Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Labyrinth of Touhou 2 Let's Play series. My name is Shire and my partner today,
Oh, we're partnered now?
for the
We got-
moment.
When did? Oh, wow. I'm touched and wow. Yes. I accept your offer. Um when do we get a white picket fence and a dog?
Those are passé now.
Oh. Can we have a garden and some cats at least?
I'll see what I can do.
What about some ducks?
If you can catch them. Anyway, today's as good as introducing as ever.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched, but I actually did a brief episode without you the other day.
Alright. I have to divorce you now.
Oh, that's a shame. We were just getting started.
Right, alright. Anyway, you're divorced. No, I didn't watch, I didn't notice. I've been so out of it the past week, it's not funny.
Yeah. The premise was pretty simple, just fight against Tenshi until I could actually beat her instead of letting her run away. And as a result, I got a ridiculously powerful defense item.
Oh, yay.
Let's
And
see who's
I
got
assume
it.
plot-wise she just ran away again anyway?
Yeah,
Okay.
here it is. The Divine Barrier gives 88% to both defenses.
Huh.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. So why is Renosuke carrying it?
Yeah, he's acting as a de facto tank.
Okay.
I also, realized I got the special secret combo together, so... Bone Steak gives you a speed buff, basically nothing. Happy Hat gives you a small resistance buff and a bit more mana, basically nothing. Bludgeon, small attack and defense buff, nothing. If we combine it with a Cypress Stick though, every stat goes up by 50%.
Oh, okay, just randomly.
Yep. If these 3 items, or 4 items, are equipped in these specific slots, they become a large power-up.
Do they have any, like, plot connection or reference connection?
Presumably, but I don't know.
Alright. So, we gave it to Kaisen because...
Well, she's acting as a tank-ish, but she's still an attacker. I basically just loaded in all of the characters who have had the least playtime, and that meant that none of them are tanks.
Okay.
So I'm faking it.
So we've got a fair amount of nukers looking at the lineup.
Oh yeah. We
'Cause
got Yugi's single power, Utsuho's area power. The thing I realized when looking at the back stats is this attack of hers actually ignores defenses, basically. So yeah, it just kills everything regardless.
Tatari can nick people's nuke powers, can't she?
Yep, and I think I've loaded her up with higher attack than magic right now, yep.
And then... Pegasus got... I think some of these other ones I'm remembering as having relative, like, good, like...
I think
There's a lot of...
I've used them for nukes, but they're not necessarily the best straightforward. The deal with Kogasa is she's a rolling ball. She inflicts terror on the enemy and then gets more powerful by beating them up.
There's also a fair few in here that I'm looking at going, like, these feel like speedsters to me, like Chen's in there.
Yeah.
Azrin's fairly quick, isn't she?
Yeah.
And Rin?
Yep. Misty is also a speedster.
Yeah.
As a general rule, I try to have at least one speed character on every team. Speaking of which,
Well,
it's, you have a tank to soak up damage, a blaster to damage as many enemies as possible, and a speedster to get those targets that are going to get you first.
I was just looking at it being like, this feels like a lineup pretty much designed to get in hard and go aggressive.
Yep. Anyway, to the jungle.
To the jungle we go. To the jungle we go.
With a nice little jungle beat.
Yeah.
Now, I know I have explored this area before in the past, but not on stream, and not in a long while.
Oh, look at Spore Kid.
Aww,
They're so cute. Burn
they're
them.
all so cute. Oh, they hit hard. What technique?
Destroy. Oh.
Hmm.
Oh, that's what it looks like when you've got everyone else's powers listed too.
Yep.
That's fun.
You always have a lot of choice of Satori. Hello, FOE. Let's ignore you. Ding, ding, ding.
Do 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 do.
So what have you been up to?
Dwarf Fortress.
Yep.
Pretty much exclusively, to be honest. I consider myself to have reached Dwarf Fortress's win condition.
Yeah?
The game is now lagging hard enough. I managed to fix it with some tweaks, but I managed to hit hard enough lag that it was becoming difficult to play. When I say win condition, I mean losing, but it's not my fault.
That sounds like Dwarf Fortress.
Mm-hmm. Although I will say, I feel like the accessibility has improved somewhat since I last picked it up.
And that's always a good thing. Something you'd hope for too with so many years of development.
It's not... I guess the way to put it is the interface isn't any more accessible. Like, it's not, like, fixed. I think that just the difficulty's been tweaked down to not be just punishing.
Yep. You don't need to do weird exploits to make things actually even work in the first place.
Basically, for the most part, if you're doing what you'd expect would keep dwarves alive, like farming and whatnot, you're doing what you should be doing.
Yeah.
I'm kind of at a stage now where, like, I mean, I managed to get the frame rate working again, and now I'm just sort of here thinking, alright, so what do I actually want to do? You know?
Yeah.
Because I have the fort functioning, I have too many nobles. All my dwarves just keep getting promoted, and then they become nobles, and then they walk around my fort going, I demand you make scepters. And I need better bedrooms. Please build me a very nice bedroom, and an office, and a tomb. And I'm just like, shut up.
Yep. Alright, so we just saw a doll and Satori said what for?
Oh, and we don't fight it. I was assuming that was going into a fight.
Yeah. Well, it was a red icon, not a purple one, so...
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that talk of uppity dwarves reminds me a bit of when I was playing Pharaoh and Caesar.
Yeah, the thing is, there's this thing in my head that goes, you know what I think the good solution to the uppity dwarves thing is? There's two things. One, you should get something for having nobles. Like, I don't know, maybe people are, like, maybe if you... Specifically, if you've got nobles that aren't your fort's nobles, you know? Like, that are the nobles that own other holdings that just happen to live with you.
Yep.
If people from their holdings arrived and gave you gave tribute to them, you know? That'd be something cool. But
Yeah.
the flip side of it would be if you don't build I basically have it that if you don't build them suitable accommodation within a certain amount of time, they get huffy and go to their holdings. They just leave. Instead of going insane.
Yep.
Because that's, like... And that way, I think it naturally balances to how many... Oh no, we lost, like...
Yeah, there are some mean combos here.
Oh well, we get the sports on me.
But yeah, the deal of a Pharaoh or the Caesar game lineup was that everyone pays taxes, but the tax they pay is proportional to the quality of their houses.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a bit like that. It's
And-
mostly just that nobles
Yeah.
demand good houses.
Until you get people to noble status, the taxes are always lower than their wages, obviously. Oh, I missed. So the deal is, yeah, switching to nobles, you lose part of your workforce, and you have to be very careful because they also need peasants nearby to work the buildings that they need to stay noble.
Yeah.
But in exchange, they become actual money sources.
That's so... yeah. It's a bit like that, but without the benefits.
Heh.
Dwarf Fortress, I tell ya. I really think the tribute missions make sense, though, but that's just me.
I don't know the system in depth, only the memes.
I mean, it's just basically a life... It's basically... Oh, hello, you.
It's Yukari.
You and your void full of eyes.
I actually have to read this dialogue now.
So what's she on about?
Alright, so Tenchi's actually trying to fight them. And I said, oh, we better watch out. I guess it means she has the sword.
Oh, is that the crazy one that was running around dual wielding?
Yeah. Alright, apparently it's a bit weird that the sword's making her more powerful, but, you know...
I'd love for someone to go, okay, you're saying it's a bit weird. Doesn't that just make it completely normal around here? Just saying.
Not yet. Not stairs yet.
Yeah, we've barely explored this level.
Yeah, let's keep going. Jungle Ivy.
Literally being attacked by vines.
Oh,
The
not the
experience
YouTube
of being on the
videos.
internet. Yeah.
Oh no. I got cornered.
We're in trouble. Are we fighting a giant tree inside a giant tree?
Yes.
We're fighting a giant tree inside a giant tree. It won.
Yep.
That was a moment of just, oh.
That's a thing. Let's go east this time, I think. It's hard to tell with isometric maps.
Yes, I agree.
So where were we before the giant tree?
Dwarves? Oh, yeah. Dwarf Fortress is you remember Banished?
Yeah.
It's a lot like that, but if you're playing the Dwarves of Moria.
Which is fair.
The
The main thing I remember of Banish is A, it basically has nothing to do once you've got your basic objectives covered. And
Well,
B, it's a game where you don't want to expand.
That would be where Dwarf Fortress is different.
Yeah.
The difference is where Banished doesn't have much content, Dwarf Fortress has fuckloads of content because it's, but I mean, it's the thing is that everything's integrated but also not. like the systems are all pretty independently designed, but they all affect each other because it's all running on top of the same simulation.
Yeah.
You know? The system running Dwarf's mood doesn't strictly have anything to do with them being in the military, but the mood will affect how good they are at being in the military. And if you've got a dwarf that goes berserk while wearing their full armor and weapon, and you're gonna
And you've
have
got
more...
a problem.
Yeah, you're gonna have more problems than the fisher dwarf going berserk. It hasn't, like... But the game was never programmed to be like military dwarves are more dangerous. They just are because it simulates weapons.
Yeah, it's gone deeply into the simulation from what I recall. You got projectile speed, body parts effects.
Oh yeah, and this is why the lag kicks in after a while, is because
it's
once
simulating everything.
Once you got 200 dwarves and all of their clothes around, and it's simulating how worn their clothes are, it's simulating... Like, it's keeping track of every rough knick-knack around the place. It's checking what to draw and all the layers. And I understand that. That's kind of the
appeal?
Well, I mean, the thing is, you're never going to get around that. Every simulation game has that same problem. Like, lag is a massive issue for City Skylines, too.
Yeah. It's why, oddly, I feel a lot of the older ones are better.
Because they can do more, because the graphics aren't as much of an issue.
Basically.
Yeah, although... In the case of things like Dwarf Fortress, it's not even the graphics that are the huge issue, it's the amount of data it just has to store. It's just holding on to so much information at every time.
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine there's all sorts of tricks you could do to make it run a bit better, but it's also one of those things of like, at the end of the day, fighting lag is going to be a losing battle.
Yes.
Like, it's a battle of how long you can keep the lag away.
You either simplify the simulation, or you power up the people's computers, which is never the most practical solution.
Yeah, basically. And the thing of it is, I don't want Dwarf Fortress to be simpler. Everything that I think of that I go, oh, that'd be cool to do, is just another thing to make the simulation more complex. So, you know, it's not like I'm demanding change here.
I mean, part of it's the scope too, but yeah.
I mean,
yeah, no, it's when the dwarves are so complicated.
I mean, next time I do a fort, I might just go for a slightly smaller embark area, because that apparently helps a lot too.
Maybe if there was a scaling to the simulation, as in as things got more complicated, started turning to simpler solutions for the less important bits.
See, the thing is, I don't know. The thing is the fact that because that takes away the fact that it gets more difficult over time. The difficulty just comes from the longer you play, the more shit you've got to manage.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing that Banished lacked. You know?
Yeah.
Like, once you'd solved the basic problems of food and everything in Banished,
what's there left to do at all?
Yeah, I mean, like, as frustrated I am by the useless nobles, the reality is, what they're doing is forcing me to build more complex homes for my dwarves in this, like, late stage of the game. It is putting a challenge in front of me. And I feel like I'd prefer it if there was an option to ignore it and just pay a cost, like small cost.
Oh, I got a second Stone of Awakening.
Ooh, excellent.
Now someone else can have a subclass.
Yay! And not in the sense of pay the price of that dwarf gets narky and goes insane, and then you have to get, because like that. I like that stuff to an extent, but it
don't ever rely on it.
I just think it would make sense if the dwarf got huffy and left. You know? It's weird to me that I have 6 barons in my fort. It doesn't seem that weird to me that 6 barons would live there if they're quartered there and well, because that does, like, if you've got a big city, of course you're going to have a bunch of nobles hanging around. It just makes sense to me that if they weren't being looked after, they'd just fucking leave.
Yeah, they should have their own resources.
Yeah, if they've, you know, inherited holdings, and I don't want to deal with them, they should go to their goddamn holdings, and you can't banish noble dwarves.
Yeah. That really was a problem of Banish for me, was that it basically you got locked into a corner of expansion bad. It's, okay, my city is working perfectly, there's no point stockpiling anything, and if I add a new district, then all of a sudden everything's just going to go out of equilibrium for no gain.
Yeah, I didn't have that thing. I just found that, like, there wasn't really anything to do beyond the very basic.
Collect all the seeds.
Yeah. Like, collect all the seeds, get all your farm districts up, get a reasonable population going. I mean, some people did some quite impressive things with the trading deports. Like, I saw some people that built basically cities covering the entire map that just had, like, 80 trading deports and just produced a whole lot of, like, wood or whatever, and just, like, essentially ran their entire economies off trade. And that's cool that you can do that. It just... You still, like, everything's very much within the game systems, whereas, like...
Those are people who are doing things despite the game, not because of it.
Yeah,
A doll scan.
Another doll.
Alright, since we're getting a lot of non-combat doll encounters, I think we will be fighting Alice soon.
Yeah.
She's got her spies out.
So, I mean, the thing... What was I gonna say? You can turn your whole fort into vampires, and all that is running off a bunch of systems that were built off... Well, how would you get infected with vampirism? Drink vampire blood. Okay. So, the game then simulates vampire blood, and if you drink it, in any of the many ways that you can drink a liquid, because they just have a bunch of systems for drinking liquids, and blood's just tagged as a liquid you can drink that happens to come from vampires, you become one. So I watched a video where someone turned his entire fort into vampires by having a vampire goblin wedged at the bottom of a well, continually getting stabbed by spikes.
Just bleed into the well.
Yeah. And then the well fills up, and you know, initially it wasn't working because he didn't realize he needed a lot more blood in the well. And they weren't getting that little drops of vampire blood that were in there, they were just drinking the water. But once he stabbed it enough and drank from it, it was, you know...
Great success.
It was a wonderful success. And the eventual outcome of that fort is probably something I'll steal for a D&D game, which is a dwarf fort that all turned into vampires to save their civilization from being overrun by goblins. But then, because, you know, that if they stick around, they'd drink everyone's blood, they just, you know, they closed off the fort at the top, abandoned it, and dug down deep, and built a secret underground dwarven vampire fort. Hidden away from the world.
Oh dear, that's going to be an annoying combo.
The Bulbasaur and the Execute.
Yeah. The Bulbasaur buffs itself and punches. The Execute just keeps healing.
That isn't annoying. Oh. Very annoying. But yeah, like, so, and that's just, like, that's something you can do, but the game, which the game permits, but it wasn't something set up to do.
It's not the Vampire Dwarf Fort Simulator, it's a Dwarven Fortress that has a whole bunch of simulations in it.
Yeah. Some of which are stupid, but some of which are fun. Like, one of the fun ones is, So necromancers are people who know the secrets of life and death and thus become immortal. They actually count as technically undead.
Yeah.
Just looking at cool items.
Yeah, this floor is... Like I said, I think I've been here once, but I usually run out of steam by this point in the game.
A lot of it's new. Yeah, that's fair. Oh yeah. Necromancers know the secrets of life and death. And what that happens is, while the history is being generated, there's a chance that a character will become obsessed with immortality. Then they petition one of the gods of death to tell them how to do it, and they become necromancers off that. They get given tablets, which spawn in the world, which hold the secrets of life and death. Those necromancers can absolutely then just write books that have the secrets of life and death in them.
And then spread it to the world.
Yes, that can happen. That actually happened in one of the forts. The YouTuber I watched, he had a necromancer as his baron, and that necromancer one day apparently just decided to go to the library, write a book, The Secrets of Dying, and another dwarf accidentally became a necromancer because he picked up the book and went, hey, this looks... Oh! I now know how to not die.
Always a good thing to know.
Yeah. Well, the bad thing...
I think it was a friend's fort specifically that he told me about. Where the deal was he just let the world generator build, and it was you had one great immortal vampire demon or something, who from the dawn of history was just doing nothing but writing books. Every one of these books was autobiographical, and in a very scathing tone. All of my life's mistakes was basically the gist of it.
This is why I'm useless! Oh. I had something like that. There was something in there. Oh yeah, I had a dwarf write a guide to writing better adventuring biographies. The prose was not good. The prose was not bad, but it wasn't good either. So it's like, you wrote a mediocre book about how to not write mediocre books. And that's just really funny. Like that, oh.
Yeah. Oh, there's a key item there. I don't know if I can trust it.
Do we have any keys?
I think we do, I just don't know what's in it.
Oh no, the mystery.
We have 3 treasure chest keys.
Oh, it's fine, just get it. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine, no problem.
You open it up.
I never visit this page.
It's a pointless page.
Well, like I said, I actually basically don't use the whole subsystem of give your characters permanent bonuses. I'd rather just play with a part of a game that I can just bring up and down whenever I want.
Makes some sense. You just don't want to be locked into roles.
Yeah. I like the ability to change out my party.
Makes sense.
Alright, tell you what, let's make the gamble. Elixir of Mages.
Oh, you got a few things.
Let's see. Now, the Elixir of Mages is a MP recovery thing. The Azura Blade? Oh, it's gotta be a good one. Yep, huge attack bonus, huge speed bonus.
Nice! So it was worth it?
Oh, and an accuracy bonus. Yeah, that was worth it.
Hell yeah! See, this is why you always open the chests.
Except when you don't.
Quiet, you.
No, I don't want to be quiet.
There's other fun stuff, like, you know, general physics exploits and things you can do with any simulation game. Oh, I have found some adamantine. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it yet.
Adamantine. Oh, we can almost afford the next bottle of alcohol.
Oh, excellent. Sorry, I just had the image of trading adamantine for booze.
I mean, the dwarfs would do it.
It's also something I could absolutely do.
Actually, it would be a hard trade. It's dwarves. They know the value of booze, but they also know the value of rocks.
The thing is, I could probably trade like one little tiny bit of raw adamantine for like a shitload of booze.
Yeah, that's the deal. They'd make the trade, but only if there's a lot of it.
Although my main trading good has just been cut gemstones, because I've found them really easy to find. I mean, granted, the world I generated was specifically a world with abundant minerals, because I just went with the noob-friendly settings.
Yep.
Ooh. Oh no.
How'd you?
Oh no.
Oh yeah, I think I recall this one. They're still looking for the princess. Anyway, this is the second half of a split from earlier. Basically, depending on which character you choose between Kaguya and Moko, you get one of these two.
Oh.
Since we went with Moko, we get the bunny.
Okay. She looks very like secret agent in this pose.
She does bring up that image, yeah. It's because she's well dressed, carries guns.
Has lasers.
Yep.
In her eyeballs.
I mean, she had an actual gun in... Okay, I won't call it an actual gun, but... She had an actual weapon in the 15th game and the fighting game that was made after it. It sort of looked like a toy ray gun thing.
So that... I'm now picturing that targeter thing in, Fallout New Vegas.
I'll show you a picture when we're done.
Did you ever play Fallout New Vegas?
Nah. Mostly, Bethesda's mostly untouched to me.
Fair enough.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, she missed. Any time that... Because of the abilities I gave her, any time that Yugi gets attacked, she has a chance to just punch back.
Oh.
Which is normally a terrible ability, but she's got such a high attack score.
Yeah. Do you know about the toy gun in New Vegas?
Not really. Go on, tell me.
Alright. So there's two parts to it. One is there's a quest to repair a targeting system for a laser satellite. There's also a gun you can get, which is actually the remote targeter for that satellite. I think there's probably some way you can figure that out in game without just knowing about it, but the gun is kind of like a separate other thing that you pick up on another minor quest. And if you and repairing the satellite's targeting system is only one of the options. You can basically be like, nope, no one should have a death satellite, and break it.
Yeah. Until you realize that you can have it.
Which I think...
Who is this? Oh! Ha ha ha! It's Kanako!
The other god.
Yep. The Snake Iron Technology God. No, she's not an iron god, she's a wind god. Snake, wind, technology.
Ah. So she's Nadeko.
Yeah. She's basically altered her portfolio to match whatever times she's been in.
So... Yeah, okay, cool.
Anyway, they've come here to clean up the matter and thus make everybody faithful to them.
Makes sense. Wait. And was that pitch Reimu start believing in gods and people will visit your damn shrine?
Yes.
Does Reimu not believe in gods?
Not quite that. It was more of a... If people start believing in gods, then people will actually visit your shrine, so let me do what I want. Fine. It's a sort of setting where not believing in gods is like not believing in rocks, so...
Yeah. But just because you believe in them doesn't mean you have to worship them or pay attention.
Yeah.
And besides, the town's protected anyway.
Got to read another of the Discworld books that had a nice version of that too.
Mm-hmm.
Where anyone who says there is no gods will quickly be found with a lightning bolt where they used to be, with a message tied to it saying, yeah, we exist.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that in the context of there, like, being an atheist golem that just assumes lightning strikes are just, you know,
Yep.
what happens when you say that.
There's a whole bit about any good philosopher having a copper-lined roof.
Oh, see, that is quite funny. It's details. It's details that really make your generic fantasy settings work.
And there was another thing I turned around and said, no, they don't hate all atheists.
Mm-hmm.
In some cases, the sheer hatred that an atheist might hold is just as good as actual belief. It's just those wishy-washy ones who go, yeah, don't bother with it, they're not real. They're the ones that cause them problems, so they're the ones that get spooked.
So what it is they don't mind maltheists.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a, you know the SCP Foundation, yeah?
Yeah?
Do you know about 3 Portlands?
I do not. Is that one of the newer ones?
I have no idea. It's basically, 3 Portlands is basically the urban fantasy part of the SCP universe. It's an alternate dimensional Portland, basically, filled with, like, fae and a bunch of other things. Like, I believe the actual land itself is a, like, genus loci, so a living entity. And, like, the article lists things like the proportion in it, and a certain percentage of the people that live there, like, self-identify as anti-theists. Because they're specifically hanging around to kill gods. And that's quite funny in a setting where it's like, yeah, no, that's an achievable ambition, depending on who you are.
Yeah. I mean, the series broke its teeth on beating up people's Mary Sues with reality warping powers, although it was also kind of tacky. Early SCP was a bit of give and take in terms of quality.
They had a lot of drama early on, and then at this point they seem to have found a really stable place where they're growing quite strongly from.
Yeah. It's no longer that thing on the internet that only a couple people know about.
Well, I mean, it started growing out of 4chan, and now it's very much its own thing.
Yeah. I'm a hipster there. I was there before its big growth, although after a lot of the drama.
I was there briefly, I think during some of the drama, because I went in there and the first time I remember starting exploring it, which was years and years ago now, I just remember hearing all this drama and seeing things where it was clear there'd been just back and forth and being like, okay, I don't want to be part of this. But now I'm back and it feels like they've still got like quite clear. Like, I guess the thing to say is they do have, for like essentially a fan site, or like for something close to a fan fiction site, or internet fiction rather, they have quite strict standards. But the thing is, they're much friendlier about you trying to get in.
Yeah.
Whereas at one point, it was very much like, you're not good, fuck off.
Yeah, not good, fuck off. We will delete your post without notice, and if we're particularly spiteful, we'll write a short story about how we kill your post.
Yes, I think that's gone, and it's more of like, there's stuff on there that's like, alright, your first attempt at an article will probably fail because it won't meet the guidelines in some way. Do it anyway. You know, do it anyway.
Yeah, but yeah, the catch for me was sometimes those kill stories were entertaining.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that's where it's at now, is getting the... It's the thing is, even a lot of articles these days began not that great and just get rewritten until they're good, because a lot of the time it'll be, okay, this isn't working, but the idea is good, so here's... And so, like, the community will support you in revising it and getting it to a point where it can become an article. So that's fun.
Yeah.
And they've started to get, like, YouTubers who, like, explore and explain stuff.
Yeah, part of it too was them making a game that was actually partially successful.
Hmm. Well, it's starting to stretch into multimedia, and some of the more recent articles are basically games and things, because there's a real part of the fun of the website is playing with what you can do with a format on an online article. I know one article which is literally a video game, and the in-universe justification is that the video game itself is the containment.
Ah, yeah. I recall an old one of those where you basically have a series of pictures that very clearly describe this is an SCP that will instantly destroy any written material about it.
It will, yeah.
That will kidnap anybody who comprehends it
who speaks it aloud.
Material.
Well, it's anyone who reads it or speaks it aloud, but the entity doesn't understand pictures. So, yeah, I've seen that one. That's one of... See, that's that thing of where I find the website really cool, is it does... It's playing. It's always playing with some... Like, a lot of the fun is playing with different ideas and being interesting. Oh, we have to level down for that one.
I think so, yeah, because Chen's level 32.
Yeah.
Grinding does that to you, you know.
You think that'll be Alice?
Quite possibly.
Shall we find out?
Yeah.
I want to fight a boss. We haven't fought a boss in a while.
Before that, let's step on the staircase and see if there's a spawn point.
That'd be nice. But yeah.
Excellent.
Excellent. Alright. Home we go.
Pride again.
Pride.
Alright, let's see how feasible this boss battle is.
Destroy all. 27. Let's go in. Bum bum ba bum. God, that freaking opening
Drives you insane.
It drives me insane about like 2 seconds out. Like I get into it and then then it hits me. You know?
Yep.
Like it catches you and then
It's got a good first couple of notes.
Not only that, it's just I don't remember it until like the third note, and then I remember it, and it's like, oh god, I've heard this too much. Oh,
it's a rock.
Oh,
It's been destroying the trees.
I was so hoping it would be Alice, but it's a rock. That apparently killed someone instantly.
Yeah.
Brutal. Hmm.
It is a nasty rock. Yeah, it takes a lot of damage at least, though.
I mean, most of these rocks have been pretty nasty.
I think I'll swap you out for you.
Huh.
Oh yeah, I think I learned that is a slight lie I told you earlier.
Hmm?
So right at the start I think I said that your mana doesn't actually go up in this game.
Hmm?
It actually does, just really slowly.
Fair enough.
Like the fastest mana growth character is Yormu when she gets it gets 1 point every 9 levels.
Huh. Neat.
I have to check those items later. Ow. Ooh, well, sorry it wasn't a character, but that was a boss battle and I'll have to check later if it was any good or not.
Yeah, boss battle. Oh well.
Yeah. So I think this might actually be a good point to let this episode end.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, because we've almost done an hour, haven't we?
Yeah, 46 minutes. And most of the floor.
And most of the floor.
Yep.
So, yeah. There you go, audience.
Alright, any closing thoughts?
Video games are interesting.
Yes, and dwarves are mad.
Yes.
Yep. Anyway, with that I will say, anyone who's tuned in, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good day.
Bye!